more always inclined towards design. The journey of costumes goes on. I just did a song for Sarah, and once again I'm turning the path and going to do a very different kind of film. Well, I think for in my career, it's my 36th year in the movies, and आज तक मैं फिल्में करता हूँ, and it's 21 years to my label, and I think the give back is, there are different kinds of empowerment, charity, all of that, right? But I think for me the biggest um, the thing that gives me the maximum pleasure is meeting young students. और क्योंकि उनकी आंखों में एक सपना होता है उनकी, and sometimes confusion भी होती है, and I think meeting them, talking to them, and reassuring them or helping them go out there and achieve what they want to achieve is the best comeback any artist can do, whether it's an actor, film director, designer, painter, whoever. So I think interacting with the younger generation is something I like to do, and via my relationship with LST and NIF, it's more than 10 years. That's something that I really, really enjoy doing, is coming and meeting them, making them happy, speaking to them. Like for example, अभी मैंने काफी कपड़े देखे हैं, मैंने उनसे कहा कि बहुत अच्छे ideas. I think the students in the Gen Z is thinking so differently. I'm very happy with NIF that as teachers, they're also encouraging them to think differently. मुझे लगा कि they should work a lot more on their cuts and all of that, which is what I advised them, and now they will do that. So I think वो एक coming and sharing your views and sharing your experiences with a room full of youngsters and students is always it's very enriching to me as well. I also get to learn something from them, from the questions that they're asking, and it's always a wonderful day to be with students. Well, interesting questions. Mostly they're a little confused. कि क्या करना है? Should they get into fashion business? Should they get into fashion design, women's wear, men's wear? And I remember जब मुझे फैशन डिजाइनर बनना था 88, 89 में, उस वक्त कोई कोर्स नहीं था मेंस का in Mumbai, and मैं भी confused था. I used to model and I used to make sketches, and मुझे अपनी कोई भी sketch पसंद नहीं आती थी. तो मैं अपने आप से पूछा था कि do I really want to be the designer? I love films, and उस वक्त फिल्मों में भी कोई ऐसा established designer नहीं था. भानु जी थी, and Bhanu ji had moved on to doing a lot more period films. So मुझे लगा नहीं, मुझे फिल्में भी अच्छी लगती हैं and मुझे कपड़े भी अच्छे लगते हैं. Let me blend the two together. So I think I didn't have a voice to help me or somebody to advise me. I followed my instinct, and it worked. Sometimes it doesn't work. So I think that it's very important that people like us who've been working for very long should meet up with students and direct them on their path, on their journey, because they are at times confused. कि करना है, नहीं करना है. They're unhappy of their sketches. They're unhappy. Sometimes there's the parental pressure. So all of that is always good to. Well, I think based on their interest, it's very important. Like I'm not good at business, so I was more always inclined towards design, towards movies, towards color, towards painting, towards sketches, and I learned business on my way, by making a lot of mistakes. But today there are institutes like that, like NIF where we are, and London School of Trends, where we can guide them. Then of course it depends on their hard work. It completely depends on how much of a heart they put into their work. Well, I'm still designing costumes. I've just done Kiara's looking toxic, and so movies. I'm right now working with. I'm working with Atlee. I just did some costumes for Deepika and Allu Arjun. So the journey of costumes goes on. I just did a song for Sarah in a film that it's a Dharma film that's coming. So वो चलता रहता है. I think movies and मेरा एक ऐसा relationship है जो कभी छूटता नहीं. And producing movies, I've produced 3. It's a very different path I've chosen. And once again, I'm turning the path and going to do a very different kind of film. It's a project that I'm working on, and we are right now only on script, this thing. And of course, where business is concerned and passion is concerned, very important to keep launching different verticals, exciting yourself on newer journeys. And I think I look forward to that now. See, my collaboration with NIF is, of course, to reach out to students. How else am I going to reach out to many students, talk to them? And we travel. We recently, just last month, were in Indore. Today we are here. We have a plan, after every 2 months, we go to a new center. I meet new people, I answer their question, I meet new youngsters, I see their work, I guide them. This is the best way I can reach out to students, and I absolutely love doing that. Of course, that of course it's the Gen Z, it's the youngster who is going to make that big difference. And of course, I want to see fashion is a evolving process. Fashion is a young process, and even in my own headquarter, I have all young assistants. I'm constantly listening to them. In my office, we don't have a hierarchy system. Even interns are included in meetings. I love to hear the young mind. If you won't learn, it's like technology. As technology progresses, you've got to adapt it. You can't stand against it. It's progress. And I think every field, the younger voices should be heard. You can't really, because it is a changing process. But that's the excitement, right? For me, I find that exciting. Like I find that कि कुछ नया करने को है. There's something new constantly. There's something new to learn. There's something new to do. And I think that is what this has become a very, like, fashion is an exciting profession, at least for me. And it's something that we constantly are on the move, constantly on the go. So I think that's the best part of it.
Share it all with Manish.
No, it's completely my pleasure.
To have him here with us and guide them, even like a single advice can change their lives. And coming from such an icon, you know, one on one in front of them, I think this opportunity is once in a lifetime, which students are getting, and I think we are really really grateful for having him. His experiences that he's gonna share with the students, I think it will help them so much in their journey. And yeah, we are just extremely thankful to you, sir.
Actually, you don't even know that I'm actually more thankful because it gives me a day to meet students. Because, of course, every day I'm in my headquarters working with a lot of young people, but then we're working together, right? But here it is just literally meeting them, seeing that dream in their eyes, and answering their questions. So for me, so I'm actually thankful for having me come here and, of course, meet all of you. Like you said, fashion also is very attractive, you know. So I constantly tell the students, ask yourselves honestly, is this what you want to do, or you're just attracted to the fact that it's fashionable to be in fashion? So that's one question which is very important, that they ask their soul. That they Then of course comes really lots of different ways that it can be associated with fashion. It could be the business of fashion. It could be this fashion communication. It could be product design. It can be so many multiple things. So that's the guidance that we actually, whenever we speak to students. And then of course then there's always an interview. There's always a talk on stage where they ask me questions, and the students get to hear how I'm thinking, what were the thoughts in my journey, what were the failures, what were the achievements, how did I come over the bad days. Because today's younger generation gets anxious, so you've got to teach them patience. You've got to teach them that, listen, life is not, every day is not Sunday, so it's okay, you've got to tide. So that's another advice that I constantly share with young people. And don't be disheartened, just keep going on.
Our advice every day to students would be to look up to people like Manish sir, who with hard work, with their, such determination. And this journey is something that students can learn from it so much, that how he started, at such a young age, and today what kind of, there is no, you say fashion, it's Manish Malhotra, which comes to your mind first. Indian fashion means Manish Malhotra.
No, I think what's also amazing today. Sorry, you were saying something.
No, sir, that's
No, I think what's amazing today is that look at the amount of designers doing good work. There are a lot of young designers today who have new voices, and I think that's so good, right? So yeah, newness, very very important, especially for young students in a crowded space. If they're not going to come out with something new, it's very difficult. See, at our times there were lesser people. We made mistakes and we learned from it, and we went. There was not so much of social media. So while social media puts you out there faster, right? And
Yeah,
but you have to also come up with something very new. I would say newness. I would say consistency. The fact that we've lasted for so many years is that we've corrected our mistakes. We've got up the next day and said, ये गलती हुई, ये अच्छा नहीं था, but आज इसको हम बैठ के ठीक करेंगे. So that consistency is very important. And I think what's non-negotiable for me is hard work.